Hey guys, Zach here with ZEM Construction, bringing you another video in our basement finishing series. If you haven't checked out part one, make sure you go back and do that. So where we're at right now, the subcontractor drywall guys have just left. They did a great job. We walked around and made sure to inspect everything. It looks really, really good. They hung everything, mudded, taped, and then finished the texture. We did a light orange peel all the way through. Now that everything is drywall, you can kind of get a vision of what this is going to look like. Here are the pocket doors. I think we did a really good job at hiding this beam up here. Turned out really nice. Master bedroom, nice and big space. And then the closet that we talked about earlier, and again, another pocket door. And we went underneath the stairs. As you can see, there's lots of space in there now with tons of really, really good light. So we work our way over here. You can see the egress window over here, and we made sure to do bullnose corners to match what they have upstairs. We put in a windowsill here. Now work our way into the bathroom. Again, another pocket door. You can kind of get a good idea of the footprint now. Huge, massive shower. The vanity is going to go here, of course, with the toilet. So the next step in the process is we're going to run through with a PVA primer to treat all this drywall, and then flooring starts tomorrow morning. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so like I mentioned, after all of the drywall is complete, we like to come through with a PVA primer. PVA is essentially a treatment for the paper as well as the mud products that are used for doing all the drywall. And what it does is it essentially hardens those surfaces, adds somewhat of an insurance policy for both me and my guys, right? If we are going through and we accidentally hit the wall with a piece of trim or something, just making it a little bit harder makes our lives a little bit easier in the long run, as well as for the homeowner. Of course, you know, people live in these spaces, they move in furniture, they live, play with toys, you know, all of those things. So any thing that we can do to make that a little bit more durable for them, of course, we like to take advantage of that. So after all the primer is done and dry, we pull up all the masking. My drywall subcontractors lay a masking for us anytime we were planning on putting a laminate or an LVP down, just to keep all of the excess mud and build up off of the concrete floor. But of course, we like to go through, sweep it all really well, vacuum everything, scrape off every little piece of debris so that doesn't come through the flooring later. So the product that the homeowner actually chose was a laminate flooring, a very nice, durable product. Has a foam pad underneath for both sound as well as comfort. But the manufacturer did recommend that when installed over a concrete slab or subfloor, that we lay down a moisture vapor barrier. So my supplier essentially calls this product a glorified plastic bag. That's really all it is. It comes in large sheets like this, and so we lay it down using a moisture-specific tape. It's essentially just a thicker duct tape that has really good adhesive properties. So we get that all laid out, and then we can start going on the laminate flooring. So something that I learned somewhat recently, which is kind of a surprise as long as I've been in this industry, is I assumed that all click-together flooring, so laminate and LVP, was all installed the same way. That is absolutely not the case. Most products have a little bit of a unique way that they are installed. So the way that the tongue and grooves face, where to start. So this product, for example, the manufacturer suggested starting in the top left corner with the tongues facing up, and then working your way left to right. So again, those little pieces of paper that you normally just throw away when they fall out of the box, I would grab that, read that when you're installing flooring for yourself, and make sure that you're following the guidelines that they set. In some cases, we have to go against those guidelines, like we are here, in working our way up backwards. Most flooring is capable of being installed this way, just a little bit more difficult, a little bit more time consuming. So we did it in this case because we wanted the lines that travel through the pocket doors to be perfectly straight and parallel with the rest of the room. So we started in one room, worked our way down, established those straight lines, and we're able to work our way back up the other way. We learned that the reason the manufacturer suggests this is that putting in those last final pieces up against the wall was a little bit difficult. You know, we took our time, made sure we did it correctly, utilized the right tools to get that installed, and it was not that big of a deal at all. But as you can see, running through these pocket doors, it turned out perfect. We're very happy to not have any seams or transitions or anything like that. The entire space is laid with one product. One thing I'd also suggest when bringing in or installing in your own flooring is saw blades. There is blades out there that are designed specifically for laminate flooring. I would invest in those. Just know that either way, you're going to be buying a new blade. So if you don't use a blade designed for laminate flooring, you're going to destroy that blade and it'll be ruined, and it will have a really hard time making any other cuts on wood or anything else like that. So we used both a chop saw as well as a track saw in order to make the long straight cuts for some of the smaller, thinner pieces, and of course had specific blades for those. And I've made the mistake in the past of not using correct blades and just completely ruined them. It doesn't matter how nice they are, how much money you spend on it, carbide tip, any of that. If it's not designed for a laminate flooring, it will be unusable after that. So after we worked our way through the gap where the double pocket doors go, we're essentially working on separate rooms at that point, just kind of moving along. I do have a very specific method that I use when laying flooring as far as a pattern. I looked all over YouTube and everywhere else, and even asked industry professionals about how to lay flooring in a systematic way that appears random, and there really isn't a correct answer. So my brain is way too systematic just to pull stuff out of the box, make random cuts, and get it laid down. I do not like when seams line up or when there are patterns that look kind of ugly, because essentially what could happen is if you do have 2 or 3 pieces that don't look great, that pattern is replicated throughout the entire row of flooring. So if that is something that is interesting to you guys or something you've found, please let me know. Leave a comment if you'd like to see a video about that. I'd love to show you some of the methods that I've developed over the years. So after all of the laminate flooring is laid, we go back and actually mask everything again with a ram board or an X board, one of those products. And after all that is done, the next step for us was to waterproof the shower. So I have said it time and time again, I know there are many ways to waterproof a shower. This is the method that I was trained on, I have been taught. We went with this method as opposed to a Schluter or a Weedy or a Tile Pro or any of the other ones, simply because the shower pan was a pretty unique shape. We didn't feel like spending a bunch of money on a huge pan, having to cut it all down, essentially not using it. So we poured our own pan anyways, and then decided to use a Redguard and mesh waterproofing system. I also, as a little bit more of an insurance policy, my drywall subs will use an exterior grade dense shield in the shower. As you can see, it's a little bit different color. It's actually a gray product, and it is mostly fiberglass, and it is rated for exterior use and will not degrade or rot or anything like that with exposure to moisture. So that, coupled with the Redguard method that we use, we actually incorporate a fiberglass fleece mesh. This is the proper way to use Redguard or a roll-on waterproof membrane. I think these products get a bad rap in the industry because they can fail, and the reason they fail, and just like any other waterproofing system, is because they are installed improperly. I see countless videos all over YouTube and everywhere else where Redguard is used as waterproofing system, but they do not utilize this fleece here. So I think it is crucial to use this product. Extra precautions are taken in order to make sure that we do not have any issues down the road as far as waterproofing and those things. So essentially how this stuff is installed, similar to paper mache or anything like that, you do a very even coat where the mesh is going to be laid, stick the mesh in, squeeze out any of the excess to make sure you have it nice and flat, and then go back and do a layer over the top. And this completely encapsulates the mesh, adds even more barrier as far as waterproofing. You can see my employee Cody is going through. He added a layer inside the niche, outside the niche, in all of the corners. Now he's going through and doing the pan and the back inside corners. We essentially add this product anywhere there is a change of plane, so most corners, and then we also paint a roll-on any of the flat surfaces, so the walls as well as the shower pan itself. The walls and the pan will get 2 to 3 coats. The inside corners will naturally get 3 to 4 coats just because of the 2 layers on both sides of the mesh. So after all of the waterproofing, we go through and start laying trim. So we spray all of our trim and baseboard. We use an airless sprayer. I just think it looks so much nicer than painting it prior and then having to go back to fill nail holes and touch up. So that's why all of our flooring is masked, because we're essentially getting ready for spraying that. We had the painter on site a little bit early. They were available and they asked if they could come in and start prepping. So they were prepping door trim, and as I was laying base, they were coming right along behind me, getting all those nail holes filled, caulking, getting prepped for paint. It was kind of a game, a little bit of a race. I was making sure to try my best to stay ahead of them. It worked out fine. They were completely understanding that they were there a little bit early, but it worked out great. One of the things that I did in this project that was a little bit unique was, because of all of the pocket doors, there was really only 2 steel studs on each side running through where the pocket doors go, as opposed to doing some type of nailer or ledger or something like that for the baseboard to be nailed to. Actually, I still screwed in the baseboard to the steel studs just like I did on the uprights of the doors, but I also used a construction adhesive to adhere the baseboard to the drywall that goes around there. So screws with the construction adhesive, and I got a little 1-inch 18 gauge brad nails to fasten the baseboard to the drywall itself while the construction adhesive dried. So again, a little bit unique, a little bit different, but I think it worked out just fine. All of my outside corners are pre-assembled and CA glued so that we have no gaps that develop over time, and those corners look really nice. Of course, all the inside corners are coped. And here is a really good example of a pre-assembled outside corner piece. All 3 of these pieces are pre-assembled so that the corners are at perfect 90 degrees. The miters look really nice. Both of the sides of this piece were coped in order to match up against the left side and the right side around the stairs. Going through adding a bunch of small pieces. Wherever I can, I try to avoid using quarter round. I know it's an industry standard. Just for me, I feel like it kind of looks like an afterthought. Maybe the flooring wasn't installed right. There's too big of a gap. It's like, okay, we'll just add quarter round. So where I can avoid it, I do. But of course, I think it looks really nice, and it makes for much cleaner, smoother lines.
Hey guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We are wrapping up part 2. So we have got all the trim and everything ready to go. The painter is currently in the process of painting the trim. We didn't show any of that because it's white on white. It's kind of hard to see, but you can get an idea of what it looks like. So we also got all of the door trim done. All of the pocket doors are all completely trimmed out. Look really nice. We're gonna leave those in right now because the paint is currently drying. We don't wanna touch those. And the flooring is all completely done. This is a really cool piece of the project because although it looks like a job site, we really are in the home stretch. We really only need color on the walls. And then to finish up the bathroom, you guys saw we got that all red guarded and waterproof and ready to go. Next step is tile the shower, and then we can get the vanity and all those bathroom fixtures in. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you would please subscribe. We have more videos coming out from this project as well as lots of other projects down the pipeline. So if you like this type of content, please hit a like. It shows the YouTube algorithm that this type of stuff is doing really well. So thank you again so much. We'll talk to you guys later.